our resistors. Now, we've got our resistors come with different bands. You've got resistors with 4 bands, you've got resistors with 5 bands. Are we together? Now, those with 4 bands, they only have got 4. Others with 5 bands have got 5 bands. Now, these are bands of colors that are different from each other. Now, all these bands, like the one with 4 bands, like the first band is got a different color, which also means something different. Are we together? The second band is a different color, which also has got a different meaning. The third band has got a different meaning. Fourth band has got a different meaning. Are we together? So, in case of 4 band resistors, the first band that we have, it represents a value. Are we together? Right? What about the second band? What does it represent? Value. That is correct. And the third band, this is only for one with 4 bands, right? Now, the third band, what does it represent? Multiplier. That is correct. The third band is a multiplier. Look, this is wrong. Multiplier. That's correct. And the fourth band, which is the last one, what does it represent? Tolerance. That is correct. This one represents the tolerance. So let's explain this. Now, if you've got 5 bands, you've got the first band would be a value, the second band would be a value, the third band would be a value, the fourth band would be multiplier, and then the fifth band would be tolerance. That is correct. Tolerance. Okay, so now let's explain what all these are, right? Like, let's say for an example, when you say the first band is a value, that means the first value, the first band represents a number. Are we together, right? And the second band, we're saying it's a value, that means the second band represents a number. Are we together? Then we've got the third band. The third band represents a multiplier. Because if you're only working with 4 bands, that means you can only use 2 numbers. Are we together, right? Which should give us 20 and 0 to 10, right? 0 all the way up to 20. That's all the way up to 99. That's what you get with this one, with these values. But then the multiplier then multiplies all our values into whichever number that we want. Are we together? So for an example, if you've got 56, then with the multiply, then you can then multiply by 10 to get 560. You can then multiply by 100 to get 5,600. Are we together? So the multiplier is what multiplies these numbers to get to whatever value that we want. You can also use the multiplier to go lower. Are we together? Like, let's say for example, you take 56, you multiply it by 10 to the power negative 2. What do you get? Your batteries will finish, trust me. The day you need them, the batteries will be finished. 0.56. Are we together? Yes, without even using a calculator. Oh, I'm awesome. I should be watching. Oh, that's how awesome I am. Okay. Now, lastly, we've got the fourth band, right? The fourth band is our tolerance. Now, for tolerance, it means, what does tolerance mean in real life actually? What does it mean? If you are someone who's tolerant, what does it mean? You can take a lot of crap, right? You can handle it. You can take a lot of crap. You can handle the crap, right? So that's what tolerance is. Now, for tolerance, it's normally given as a percentage. Are we together? This means how much percent deviation from the total or from the original value can you get before your resistor becomes useless? Are we together? Or before your resistor becomes unreliable? I think that's the correct word. Like, how many lies can you actually tell before you become a liar? That's a very good question, right? How many times can you cheat before you become a cheater?
1,000 times.
1,000 times. And how many people do you need to kill before you become a murderer? Alright, so let's move on, right? So tolerance, that's what it says. It says, so for an example, you've got your resistor that is valued at 100 ohms. That is the value of our resistor. Are we together? So if the tolerance of this resistor is 5%, this means that the total value of this resistor at any given point should only deviate by 5%. It should not deviate from the original value or from the stipulated value by more than 5%. So what is 5% of 100 ohms? Courtesy of God. Wait, Tristan. Wait, Kristen. Kristen, right? What is 5% of 100 ohms without using a calculator?
I'm not there.
You need,
It's 5%.
obviously. 5% means 5 over 100, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we were saying if it's 100 ohms and if the tolerance of 100 ohm resistor is 5%, and then we say that 5% of 100 is 5 ohms, right? That means that the value of this resistor at any given point should be within 95 ohms to 105 ohms. Are we together? That is the range at which the value of this resistor should play at. Are we together? Right? If the tolerance is 20%, that means it should also dance around 80 to 120 ohms. Are we together? So that's what tolerance represents. That's what tolerance means. Okay, so now let's look at what we have here, right? Now, this thing is actually a lot, but I want you guys to have this inside your heads. Are we together? Now, here we've got a list of colors, and then here, if your colors fall in the first band, what do they mean? If they fall in the second band, what do they mean? If they fall in the third band, what do they mean? If they fall in the fourth band, what do they mean? Now, if you're dealing with a 5-band resistor, that means your first, second, and third will be numbers only, right? Or values only. And then the fourth one, that's where you have your times 10 to the power, what. Then the fifth one, that's where you'll have this. Are we together, right? Okay, so let's move on. Now the first color is black, right? So let's move on, right? So the first color is black. Now the value for black is 0. Are we together? That means if your colors, if your item, my English is running away. If your resistor, right, is 20 ohms, that means the first color will be red, which is 2. Then the second one will be black. Are we together? So the first color is black, which represents 0, 0. And then on the multiplier side, which is our third band, right? Any number to the power 0 is going to be 1. That is correct. So times 10 to the power 0 is a 1. Are we together? And times 10 to the power 1, it's not 1, eh? Yes? No, you're correct, it's 10. Times 10 to the power 1 is 10. Any number to the power 1 is that same number, right? So that's 10. So the first number is, the first color is black, and then its multiplier is 0. And then as for tolerance, doesn't have any tolerance. Are we together, right? Then you've got brown. Brown is 1, 1, and then its multiplier is 10. Are we together, right? And then its tolerance is 1%. That means for 100 ohm resistor, the tolerance, if it's 1%, that means it can only dance around 99 and 101 ohms. Are we together, right? Now let's move on. So these are our colors, but I want us to remember them, right? So what does the acronym say? Well, the first color, what was the first letter? You've already forgotten. So the first one is Billy, right? This is for you to remember it. It's a sentence, right? Billy. The second one is Brown. So in order for you not to forget them, it's Billy Brown, and then there's the other word, right? We're going to put a star. Billy Brown, other word there, right? Billy Brown, other word. Only